This make me look weak. There's no way in hell that I would do this. Man, you got me messed up. You think I'm gonna let people play with me like that and not defend myself? What do you mean remain calm? Remaining calm is just not in my vocabulary. And so I thought, this was me just months ago. Like, what do you mean remain calm? That has been coming up a lot for me for the last few months, to just remain calm. You know what I'm saying? Especially in triggering situations. And if you would have told me to remain calm, let's say not even 6 months ago, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, hell, 30 days ago, if you would have told me just remain calm, I would have took that as offense. I would have took that as disrespect. What do you mean to remain calm? Now, see, where I am presently, I view calmness from a whole different lens than I did before. See, calmness equated weakness to me at one point in time. Me remaining calm equated that I am weaker than the other person. Rather it's an opponent in a sport, rather it's confrontation with somebody, getting into it with somebody, whatever have you. Me going against somebody or up against somebody else, me remaining calm, me staying in tune with myself and staying regulated and grounded was weakness. And now, as I come and present this to you and me hearing myself say it as I self reflect, I'm like, what? How can that be weakness when I know now that it's wisdom? Mm, clock it. It's wisdom. Remaining calm has absolutely nothing to do with your strength. If anything, it shows the amount of strength that you have versus the lack of strength that you have when it comes to confrontation, when it comes to, arguments, when it comes to, like I say, competition or sports or anything to where you are basically going up against somebody else or something else outside of yourself. And that might trigger you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the situation is. The one that came in mind for me, of course, is altercations, getting into it with people. Me always, and this is nothing recent. I haven't gotten into it with somebody in a while, but getting into it with people, this is really from my adolescence years, childhood years. I used to have this mindset, and it kind of carried over into adulthood, as far as me remaining calm equals weakness. Me not saying anything or arguing back, that means that I'm afraid or I'm scared. When I would know that I'm not afraid, but I just could not allow myself to look like the smallest person. You know what I'm saying? That was my logic, and that was my form of thinking 30 days ago, months ago, years ago. But the version of me today, calmness has now become my secret weapon. Have you ever seen two people get into it and one person is just outrageously calm? You know how bothered the other person is? But it's nothing that they can really do, because if you're not giving them no energy to feed off of, this whole situation is pointless. And I hate to be the one to bring up altercations and fighting and arguing as an example. But honestly, that's the only type of example I can really think about that somebody can really get you out your body. If you feel me, like and subscribe and comment if you feel what I'm saying right now. Like, man, I would never let nobody get me out my body before without me acting a plumb fool. I didn't care about the long-term effects of my behavior. I didn't care about who I was hurting in the process. All I cared about at the time is defending myself, defending myself. You know what I'm saying? So now, where I am now, all the inner work that I've been working on and I'm still working on, and I'm just so lucky and blessed to have finally came into the awareness of the work that I needed to do on myself internally. But all the work that I have done, it's like weakness and calmness don't even go side by side anymore. What I equate weakness with is me not trying at all, or me letting somebody control my emotions. Deep. Clock it. Letting somebody control my emotions. To me, that is more weaker than me having the control over my emotions and remaining calm. Now, like I said, I was not trying to hear that years ago, months ago, hell, maybe even weeks ago. This is something that I am freshly getting a deeper understanding about. This is not something that I've went through or overcame years ago. This is something I am experiencing right now. So, weakness has nothing to do with calmness for me, at least not anymore. When I equate calmness, I feel like that means that I have so much self control that it don't matter what's going on the outside of my reality, that nobody can shake me. Nobody can move me. Nobody can get a rise out of me. To think that I thought that that was weakness, to not entertain somebody's bullcrap, to not argue back and forth with somebody. I thought that that was weakness. I love that version of myself, but I had it all wrong. So now that I'm at this version of myself from looking from the highest lens that I have, or the highest lens that I ever looked through, I see now that me remaining calm, man, let me tell you, that is a magical, sacred thing. And of course, we hear that growing up. Just be calm, be the bigger person, do this, do that. Nobody want to hear that, especially when somebody's playing with your, you know what I'm saying? Playing with your kindness, playing with your heart, playing, just playing. This is not a playground. Just playing, you know what I'm saying? But it's like now, it's like I can't even see myself giving somebody that energy. You know why? Because I value my energy more now than I did before. I feel like it was more important for me to defend myself than to preserve my sacred energy. Not no more. And you know how I realized that that's not something that I wanted to do, or I realized that it wasn't fitting for me no more. I had to keep going through altercations. I had to keep being put in situations or continuously being met with triggers where I will feel the need to defend myself. And it don't always have to be fighting with somebody. Don't get me wrong. It could be something simple as you having issues with customer service and they pissing you off. It don't necessarily have to be you scrapping nobody or y'all rolling around in the field and getting ugly. No, it's not even that. It's just any type of triggers that kind of get you out of your skin. And that's why I use altercations, because what else can get you out your skin like that than somebody trying to play with you? Somebody trying to play with your child. Somebody trying to play with your man or your woman, your mom, your dad. You know what I'm saying? That is like the biggest thing that'll get somebody out their character. At least I know for me. That's something that I cannot play about. But now it's just like when I remain calm and regulated, I have more awareness. I can think clearer. I didn't even think that you think when you upset. I didn't even know that you could even formulate thoughts or even come up with some type of solution or conclusion when it's a lot going on like that. But that's why you have to be regulated. That's why you have to remain calm. I'm laughing because that just sounds so unfamiliar and just so foreign to my spirit, to my soul, remaining calm. Because just a month ago, if something was not going right, this don't even have to do with me getting into it with nobody, but if something was not going right, I was triggered. Nothing is going right for me. I didn't lost my calmness. I'm upset now. And so you know how hard it would be for me to come up with a solution? You know how hard it would be for me to figure out what it is that I want to do next? You know how hard it would be for me to speak positivity to myself when I would be so angry and I would let it just consume me to the point to where calmness cannot even get through the door? I'm so glad that that's in the past of me now. I love that version of myself. I will always reiterate that. But I'm so glad that that's behind me. I'm so glad that I have a newfound relationship with calmness. Calmness. It's kind of like water. You know, you're not threatened with water until you're thrown in water. You feel me? You better swim. Kind of like with calmness too. It's like when you look at calmness, it can come off as weak. It can come off as a pushover. It can come off as all these things until you actually experience it. You can think that I'm weak or I'm this and I'm that because I remain calm, but only if you knew that I'm able to calculate, I'm able to come up with conclusions in my mind. I'm able to actually use my goddamn mind in this situation because I haven't let anger or I haven't let me aggressiveness or just the opposite of calmness, right? I didn't let that overtake me. I didn't let it envelop in me so much so to where, you know what I'm saying? I can't think. I can't figure out what to do next. And that's why calmness is so important in my reality now and why I appreciate having calmness here as a friend and not an enemy. Like, y'all, I've been making friends with so many different parts of myself or so many different aspects of life that I used to either find to be the enemy Oh, I would be so afraid of. Being calm used to frighten me before because I never wanted to appear being weak. I never wanted my peers to look at me and say, Jasmine is weak because she didn't argue with the girl. Jasmine is weak because she didn't fight the person or she didn't defend herself. That's how I always looked at it. I never wanted myself to be presented a certain way that I didn't feel like was me. But now it's like you can look at me however you want. I know that I'm going to remain as calm as I can. I don't care how that come off because I'm going to walk away with this, still having my energy, still having my mind right, still having my spirit right. You know what I'm saying? So still light. It's just crazy, y'all. Calmness is my friend. Wow. To think that I thought calmness has to do with you looking like you not brave and you not courageous. You know how courageous you have to be calm in a situation that you would never be calm in? Calmness is my friend, y'all.